Behind the Counter is sponsored by
Audible.com, the internet's leading provider of audiobooks, with more than 100,000 downloadable titles across all types of literature. And by Stitcher Radio. Listen on the go via the Stitcher mobile app. For more information, go to Stitcher.com/GFQ.
Hello and welcome once again, everybody, to a phenomenal episode of Behind the Counter. It didn't even start yet, and it's phenomenal. My name is Rich Stambolian. I will be your host this evening, and my co-host, as usual, is the leader of the Bizlats, Jonathan Adler.
I'm not associated with the Bizlats anymore.
A little. Did you watch Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah, of course.
I've been dying to say that to you because they mentioned the Bizlats.
I know.
This week. Shield fans out there.
Is their first time they were on television was the Shield?
Yeah, I think so.
It's weird to use. I'm surprised they didn't do like a crossover with the Shield and Sons of Anarchy.
They could still do it with Mackie showing up.
Well, we're getting our Terrier's Wish with Donald Logue.
Yeah, but he's not playing the same dude.
I know, but he's incredible.
He's awesome on that show.
He's creepy as hell.
Or he's like, here's my business card. It's obsolete. I gotta get out of here.
It's just my name on it.
I'm gonna go read a book about dwarves and be sad with a bunch of. I don't know what the book was about.
I actually looked it up. It's a really obscure art book.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like here's my bag of pills. Here's my guns.
It has a big bag of pills too.
It's a gigantic. I read an interview with Sutter, and he said that that's going to be the big threat for next season.
His bag of pills.
His bag of pills.
Just shake him at.
They're filled with chains, and he's going to fight dogs. No.
That's awesome. Because you know what? Like they set it up for like the next couple of seasons after that.
Well, what's his
episode.
name is from Terriers also. What's his name? Roosevelt.
Okay.
He was the cop on that show. This mic's going to drive me nuts today.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to keep my finger on the trigger, like a bomb is going to go off.
It's like your voice box.
It was a good episode.
Yeah.
I hope they don't kill Tig.
I think they're gonna kill Tig.
They'd be retarded.
They
have no characters left.
Do comic fans watch Sons of Anarchy?
Nope.
No, right?
Nope. They're too busy watching Comic Book Men. AMC's After Walking Dead.
After Talking Dead.
Is it After Talking Dead?
No, it's before Talking Dead.
Because that would be stupid if they did After Talking Dead.
I want to like Talking Dead, but like Chris Hardwick,
awful.
His voice drives me up a wall, man.
I don't even bother. I don't go anywhere near AMC after
Walking
Dead's
Dead.
over.
It was a good episode. What did you think about that last week's episode?
Awesome. I think it's great. I mean, this is by and large the best season they've done out of all three. We're only halfway in.
You think so?
Oh yeah, I think the first two are very disappointing.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I like the first two seasons better than this season so far.
First season was really disappointing.
This season is fleshing out who the good actors are, though. Definitely.
Len rocked in the last episode.
Andrew Lincoln, best actor on the show.
Oh yeah, you know what? And he proved me wrong. I think the first two seasons, I really did not believe him as Rick.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like, this dude is Rick. He's like really doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah. Well, he tells the story with his eyes very well.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
what am I gonna do?
He's great. Herschel's great.
Yeah.
Maggie's great.
She's okay.
Well, she's hot. So she's
a
very
pass.
good.
Misogynist.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that later.
That's me.
The ultimate misogynist.
Who else is very good? Glenn's very good. Governor is awesome.
Michael Rooker's incredible.
You know what? I think I'm just on the fact that he's Michael Rooker. That's like, he plays Michael Rooker and everything.
Yeah.
I think he's way over the top, a bit much than we're needed. I would love to see a little bit more out of Michonne.
I'm tired of her running around like a scared 6-year-old black girl.
She's got more. No, the character has more personality, and they're just like, I think it's one of those rare occasions where they're trying to sell the character on the fact that she is supposed to be bad, and that we're supposed to know she's bad,
right?
And being a badass, but not being a terrible character.
Yeah, bad like Michael Jackson.
Bad like Michael Jackson. But there's nothing more to her than that.
It's hard.
Her sword stuff is great.
Yeah, it's hard because like in the comic, it works with her not saying anything, panel by panel. But on the show, it's like I'm really sick of her. I told our friend Bobby this a couple of weeks ago at our other friend Frankie's birthday. Happy birthday, Frankie! That I side with the governor more than I did in the comic book, obviously, because it just seems like, you know what? like this guy may have the right idea at some point. The Andrew thing's weird too.
What's the right idea?
The right idea, basically building the community from the ground up and having everybody there. The heads in the jar, not so much. But
and keeping your daughter around
and the daughter, but
with the bag overhead.
Everything else okay, except for like I don't think they're speeding up a lot of stuff in this season, but they're not speeding up the nefariousness of the governor enough for my liking.
Yeah, we're seeing little bits of it because you've seen Nice Guy Governor, and now with like the Maggie scene, you're seeing like the creeping in of what is going on with him really in his head. I mean, the guy is supposed to be a sick sociopath. I think at this point he's supposed to represent where Rick is going to be down the line.
Right.
He's like, the thing is, I think the reason why we talked about this before, the reason why he's, we kind of side with him a little more is that Rick is in such a different place now as a leader. And what we're reading in the comic is that that's kind of exactly where Governor is.
Yeah.
Like, he's the hard ass, makes the tough decisions. He's not always the best, the best friend as opposed to the leader. He's, the bad dude.
Yeah.
And that's the governor.
That's the other thing, that I feel about it is you're 100% right about that. I also want them to speed up the Rick development a little bit because in the first 2 seasons, he's the reluctant, all right, we're going to do this stuff. You stay there. All right, come with us. You stay there. All right, I guess there's nothing I could do about it.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
He did a good job with Carl.
Yes.
I mean, I'm going to be really upset when they kill Daryl this season. Sorry, guys.
Spoiler alert. But you will be happy when they introduce Tyrese.
I'm ecstatic about next episode. I cannot wait for Cuddy to come on the show.
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna be awesome. I just
don't know how.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's gonna be exactly what I told you.
He's already in the prison.
He's gonna show up at the end and be like, "Who are you? I'm Tyrese."
I think he's actually gonna show up when because now there's a bit of a power vacuum in the prison because like all the heavy hitters went over to the governor's town.
Yeah.
So, I think Tyrese is going to show up. He's like, I know how to swing a hammer.
He's not John Henry, man.
Hey, it's Cuddy. Cuddy talks like, he's like, hey, I'll talk with a drawl.
Explain to, do our comic fans Wire fans also?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
But Cuddy was a very cool character on The Wire where he was a badass hitter, and then he ends up sleeping with a bunch of kids' moms and opening up a gym.
Well, coming out of jail. And
coming
then
out of jail,
trying to get back, trying to live an honest life. And
didn't like it.
Didn't like it at all.
Didn't like becoming a bad guy again. And he found his place in teaching kids how to box.
Yeah.
And he's a great actor, like really good actor, really likable person. He's kind of the perfect vision of what I wanted Tyrese to be because he's such a great character.
He also would have been my pick for a Luke Cage. Also, second pick.
Who was our first pick?
Terry Crews.
Terry Crews will dominate everything.
Yeah.
God, play the Kemi Mutombo game, man.
Yeah. I didn't even get a chance.
You played it?
It's so bad.
It's not bad.
You're flying around in space with him.
Is there a lot of this?
Oh yeah.
Oh, awesome.
The loading screen is his finger elongating to touch a button, and it's him talking a lot. It's like the second board is him. He has his sidekick Science the Bear, and it's a bear wearing a Cosby sweater, and he's like, oh, the Blumpies are back, and he's like these furry creatures. He goes, oh no, I have to go kill the Blumpies in the Blumpy factory, but I can't kill them when the kids are around because I don't want to destroy their fragile little hearts. It's amazing.
I'll check it out.
Let him find the Mayan calendar. It's ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that sounds incredible. Is it his actual voice or somebody?
I think it's the Kemi Mutombo. The dialogue is incredible.
I hope it is.
Yeah, I mean the lines are amazing. It's incredibly well written.
Yeah, I like that.
Who would have thought Old Spice?
No, not at all.
Like 10 years ago, it wasn't even a blip on like the advertising radar.
No. Well, now it's like because they hired Tim and Eric to do their stuff like last year.
Is that who
right?
it is?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Or one of them.
Makes total sense because the first time I saw it, I was like, this looks like Tim and Eric.
Yeah. I mean, it's really good stuff, and I don't like Tim and Eric most of the time. So
I don't think they were responsible for the guy on the horse. I think it was definitely the Terry Crews stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially the last thing. Especially the last thing with the musical Terry Crews.
Oh, I cannot get enough of that.
Yeah.
So what's up, man? News? We got news?
Do we got news? We got misogyny in the Guardians of the Galaxy universe. We'll talk about it a little bit later, maybe. We've got
get over it.
We've got they're planning. DC's planning a new around the issue 20s of their comics because they're seeing such success out of the Joker storyline that they're going to do a very villain centric storyline involving everybody. And it's basically gonna be acts of vengeance where they're gonna swap bad guys, and it's also gonna be the first appearance of a lot of bad guys we haven't seen in a while since you got started. Rumor is that Brian Bendis and Mike Deodato are starting up a new Heroes for Hire comic sometimes in the near future, as teased by the new issue of Avengers. What else we got? New Universe is coming back.
Really?
Yep.
Are we gonna get Mark Hazard Merc?
No, we'll never get Mark Hazard ever again.
Then I'm out.
It's gonna be by Hickman, so whatever, dude.
Yeah, it's fine.
Stuff.
That's definitely fine. I mean, there's a lot of good books to talk about this week. I know for the past few episodes we haven't really talked about
anything
books
because we haven't been on television.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying like we haven't even when we were on, we didn't really. We would go into like one book after our thing, but like this week was like I fanboyed out this week.
Yeah, really.
A little bit because I read like all the awesome Marvel stuff and was basically like, oh, make mine Marvel. You had FF, you had Thor, you had the X-Men books.
I definitely enjoyed FF more than I liked Fantastic Four.
Really?
Yep.
Why?
I think the All Red factor really drove it home. You know what? I liked the first issue of Fantastic Four. But it's, you know what? Since Mark Waid came on, he set the bar. And then who came out after Mark Waid?
Straczynski.
Straczynski did a good job. After him, was it Hickman? No, there was something in between.
There was in between. I think you had I want to say you had Cassell doing some Diablo stuff in between.
Ugh, stuff is awful.
And then always the first one to say, always the first one to throw that rock at the glass house.
What, Diablo?
at the Carl Cassell Diablo stuff.
It sucks. I have never read a good Diablo storyline ever. Ever. Tell me a good Diablo storyline.
I can't.
I hate the character. I think he's one of the most. I hate the costume, and I usually like those type of costumes. He is just like a crappy alchemist who, for some reason, usually has Dragon Man with him.
Yeah. Who's not a man or a dragon.
Yeah. So FF was amazing because you have that beautiful cast of characters.
Yes.
You've got all like the kids, and you got a really, you have wonderful Michael Red art, which I almost got into an argument. I started interacting on Twitter, not Twitter, Reddit.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's a mistake.
Yeah.
Like it drives me nuts.
That's insane.
Any fan forum now for anything is a complete and utter mistake for anybody with sanity.
Like I was
I got beat up on Reddit.
I got beat up this week.
Do you know why?
Why?
My wife's cousin, which is for people who don't know, Eric Fogel, the creator of Celebrity Deathmatch.
Crazy.
And he was doing an Ask Me Anything. And I went in there. I'm like, hey Eric, it's Andrew. Your cousin Jess says hello. And we had this back and forth. And people were flaming me. You're so full of shit. You're not his cousin. Yeah, I'm his cousin too, and I'm his cousin too. And Eric goes, hey guys, this is my cousin from New York. He goes, yeah, you're not Eric Fogel. This is full of shit.
You're not who you say.
And they attacked him.
Yo, people I usually don't even go in your comments, but Reddit, it's kind of like the entire thing is built around comments.
Yeah.
There was a thread talking about Patrick Stewart and what's his name? Ian McKellen coming on to the new X-Men movie. And I made the mistake of responding like, you know what? It's retarded that they're actually bringing back Singer, back to direct this stuff. Because I said, like, listen, with the critical success, this is my exact words, with the critical success of First Class because of its tone and, how awesome the storyline was and how, like, amazing the storyline was, that they'd go back to that really cold, unfeeling crap that was the first two X-Men movies. I do not respect the first two X-Men movies.
The first two?
Yeah, you go back and watch those. They're really not enjoyable.
The third one was awful.
Awful, unwatchable. So these guys jumped down my throat. First of all, they send me these, critical success. Like, X-Men 1 and 2 made more money than anything. They showed me the Rotten Tomato numbers and the Box Office Mojo numbers. And I'm like, I go, you know what? Any movie with the X in the front is a big success. So I posted like the Box Office Mojo numbers on XXX 1 and 2, and said like this is retarded. Like, and he's writing in bold and everything. I made fun of his bold typing, and then they jumped down my throat saying how amazing Singer was, and he goes like, oh, Adam Paquin as Rogue was great, and like how they turned. This one guy actually said like it was amazing how they turned a standalone movie like X-Men 1 and into a sequel. X-Men 2. He was actually amazed. And it's like, and he's like, this guy proved you wrong, like attacking me. And I'm like, I'm like, I'm done. Like, I have nothing to prove on this thing.
You won, internet.
You beat me.
At least you're not going on 4chan.
Oh, I go on 4chan once in a while. I don't respond.
You don't
to
respond
4chan.
to anybody. But I'm saying, like,
it's like 3 minutes on 4chan. I'm good.
I feel like on Comic Book Alliance, you get the better end of the comments because I feel
very
like
intelligent.
They're very intelligent. They're also very extremely long winded.
Yeah.
You're reading prose when you go on comic for a lot of stuff. But if you go on like other forums, if you go on creator forums, if you go on like even like DeviantArt stuff, Tumblr stuff, you're getting like the lowest, like the trolls who are just like, somebody liked something, I'm gonna make it stop. I'm gonna make your face stop right now. And
it hurts.
There was a guy busted about a couple of months ago in Texas for being like this notorious like internet troll, and his whole excuse, he was like this 49-year-old guy with a wife and kid. His whole excuse was like, he was like, listen, like my wife is paralyzed. I don't like my job, so I come home and after I do my thing, I go online and this is how I get. This is how I exercise my personal demons.
Therapy
like,
for you.
Yeah, he's like, I go on and I just like badmouth everything, and I link people to child porn, and I do all this crap, and just like really horrendous like troll stuff that this guy's doing. And he's like, listen, this is what I have to do to keep my sanity. And I think they still gave him like 30 days in jail or something. But the worst part about it is they outed him to like all like the internet community. So now like this guy's getting like death threats and hate mail, and just like his stuff is getting hacked, and he's out. What
started with me with this like interacting with it is because I'm reading like people. It's like that troll guy. There's people who just go out of their way just to be dicks.
Yeah,
and especially when it comes to grammar and like like just assholes. Mm-hmm. So there's one guy. There was this long-winded thing about this guy who posted this long letter that someone stole his. He's like he has roommates and someone stole his Adderall. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I have a security camera in my room. I'm not going to watch it. I just want you to come forward and tell me and blah, blah, blah.
On Reddit.
On Reddit. So he's going on. And then, like, everyone's like, this guy's full of shit. There's no way that he has a security camera. Mm-hmm. And, like, someone wrote, like, who the hell puts up a security camera in their room in the first place? And this guy responds, the thing about adjectives is that they actually usually describe things. I think somebody who put a security camera in is for security. And I respond to this like, man, his comment makes my skull throb. Take it easy. We understand you went to school.
Yeah.
And then he goes, you don't have to be condescending in response, even if you thought I was condescending to begin with. Read my reply. If you want your skull to stop throbbing, I was just trying to get off on some mere definitional statement. And I go, your logic on being condescending seems condescending in a condescending way while coming across as being condescending.
Can we?
And I won that.
Can we call this episode John Fights the Internet?
I lost. Because the next thing I'm like, tough shit now. So how dare I say that Brian Singer sucks? Because listen, Brian Singer sucks.
Yeah.
He did Superman Returns. People remember this, right?
Yeah.
And now he's coming back to X-Men.
Yeah.
And the whole movie's going to be about Ian McKellen, talking about gay shit with X-Men. He has such a boner for Ian McKellen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he does. I think also every fanboy on Earth does too, because he's Gandalf and Magneto.
Take it easy, guys. Fassbender rocks.
Yeah. Fanboys have boners for Fassbender too. My fiance has a girl boner for Fassbender.
I do.
Forget it. Yeah. She gets hot flashes every time she's that guy on TV.
He's a hot dude.
I forgot. She sent me pictures. She was like, check this out. And it was him hanging out with Ryan Gosling.
Oh, it's
and I was like,
that's
it. That's it. She's that's it. Yeah. That was like the dark side.
There's a new dude hitting the market now that we're going to start losing their mind for.
Who that?
Sweet. It's a French guy that I saw in Rust and Bone. Awesome movie.
Name's John Adler.
Ex-kickboxer falls in love with Marion Cotillard.
Okay.
After she's a orca trainer who loses her legs to the orca, and they fall in love.
Is it a true story?
No, it's very good.
It sounds like
Did
a true
you see
story.
this?
What is that? Who is that? I can't. Hold on. Viewing.
That's the Mish.
Can you hold that up to the camera? One of our friends. We're gonna make you famous tonight, bro. It's way too far.
What a gay.
Hey, listen, if anybody's watching tonight, you're gonna be called out on misogyny, unequal rights, misogyny.
And what about the LGBT?
Body misogyny. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like my whole thing with the first two X-Men movies is that like X-Men 1 to me now, it was like a bunch of them were on TV. Like everyone was on TV, and then they wrapped it up with like Wolverine First Class. First X-Men movie when I saw it in the theater, wow. As a 31-year-old male now, I'm like, I can't watch this movie.
But it was because it was X-Men, and like we've wanted this our whole entire life.
Absolutely.
There to be an X-Men movie.
Couldn't watch it. Couldn't like the
tough.
end is terrible. X-Men 2, To this day, the only scene I really, really enjoy is when Wolverine goes nuts in the mansion, and that's it. Yeah.
That's cool, and also the Deathstrike fight is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know what's my favorite part? When Wolverine finds Kitty Pryde in the dumpster with ants coming out of her mouth.
Yeah.
You know, okay. X-Men 1.
I love Christmas show. I'm going to finish that bit.
Okay, for the Christmas show, we could do it.
All right, cool. Awesome. X-Men 1.
I'll dress up like Wolverine with ants in my mouth.
X-Men 1 favorite scene, which I still think is watchable. The first time we see Wolverine's healing factor when he gets out of his Winnebago. And Sabretooth shows up and he's like, yeah, he does that. It's really straight. X-Men, Wolverine First Class, whatever it was called, whatever that piece of crap was called.
X-Men Baba Booey.
The X-Men Origins Wolverine is a piece of garbage.
Yeah, but Liv Schreiber so rocked at Sabretooth.
He was awesome, and so was, what's his name, is Gambit.
Yeah, right.
And like Will.i.am.
Oh, boy.
Or Ryan Reynolds. You know what?
I just realized that the other day that Will.i.am is William.
Yeah. Really?
I just feel like what a dickhead name. And they kind of came together like a code breaker, like putting the words together. Like, code's broken.
No wonder I lost to the internet. Like the X-Men movies aren't that great to begin with. Like they're great, but they're not at the same time.
No, it is that I think the X-Men and Spider-Man movies, they kind of set the bar for that really, like, you know, the steely backgrounds and like lacking personality and, you know, a real like Hollywood approach to handling franchises in like comic book world.
Yeah.
It's thankfully we're getting away from that. We're actually putting more personality and more character into them, and also resembling the comic books a great deal. Like, you know, like I love the fact that in X-Men First Class you had them in the uniforms.
Yes.
It seems so much more like an X-Men comic as opposed to black uniforms and just focusing on Wolverine, because Wolverine's gonna be front and center in the new one. They just said he's gonna be in it again too.
Yeah, I mean, like,
and I guarantee you, somehow, some way, Singer's gonna put a kibosh on there being Sentinels in this movie. Watch.
You think so?
Oh yeah,
because we got a tease of that in X-Men 3 because everybody's really clamoring for the Sentinels. You know,
I don't understand how it's possible they don't put giant robots in these movies. How we're in 2000 what? What year is it? We're going to 2013, possibly 2014.
Hey man, the 90s called.
Why can't we have giant robots? Are they that expensive?
Nah, I can't. You know what? It's. I don't know.
If I could see a giant Jack Black for 2 hours in a movie, I could see a giant robot.
I actually sat through that.
What's wrong with you?
Comic book movies have come a long way in the short amount of time that they've been on, and like everybody, a lot of fanboys and a lot of people worried that, you know, like they were just gonna bite the dust until like you saw Cap, Thor, Iron Man, you know, Avengers, the Batman movies. But then now you have like phase 2 of that. You're getting Iron Man 3, which is apparently super serious.
Looks like it.
You know, you're getting Thor 2 where he fights a bunch of elves. You're getting Cap 2.
Not a good way to sell the movie.
Another Wolverine in Japan. You're getting a Justice League movie. You're getting I think a Green Lantern sequel.
I don't know.
At some point,
I think they're trying to figure out if Man of Steel's gonna make any money first.
And Man of Steel, also you're getting Man of Steel with Henry Cavill. And you know what? You know what's weird about that is that like this movie's been in production for so long. I've seen maybe 4 pictures from it.
Yeah, you would think there'd be a really, like, you know, meaty trailer at this point.
No, the trailer's good though. I do like the trailer.
Yeah, I just want more.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like also as a fan, like we both get sucked into like that, like the mystique surrounding it. Like when we saw Batman, the last Batman movie, and we saw the Superman trailer, we were both like, yeah, bro.
Bobby hated it.
Really?
Bobby hated it. It's like, when am I gonna watch Superman fishing for another?
Is Bobby becoming a hater? Because he started.
Bobby's
like,
a hater.
Is
Bobby is like so knee deep in watching zombie films, and knows the echelon of crap that he watches. Anything that's moderately good, he just like, that's gonna suck.
You know what? Put Bobby on Reddit. I bet you he'll win.
He'll win.
It's like the ultimate.
Tag him in.
Hate Machine. I want his name to be Hate Machine B.
I thought I was the original hater.
I don't know. You kind of you came around. You're like, you know what? It's the influx of stimulus and like
it is.
Like when I go to the movies and I'm like, yeah.
I love going to the movies.
I know you do. I still gotta see Skyfall.
Awesome movie.
Yeah.
Let's go to this new theater, man.
Oh,
lay down for 2 hours.
Fall asleep.
You know about this?
Asleep.
Andrew, you don't go to the movies. You know,
I don't go to the movies.
You know about the new theater?
No.
The 188th Street theater?
It's the same theater.
The same theater, just redid it.
No. Is it nice?
look, reclining leather love seats. You lay down.
I won't go.
Why?
There's feces all over the seats.
He
There's
doesn't
no
like the feel of
feces.
leather
There's
on his
feces.
It's all
skin.
brand new.
No.
There's feces everywhere you go.
Everywhere.
Fecal matter.
That's why I don't go anywhere.
He's the original.
And
fecal,
lice.
He's the original fecal freak.
And lice. Lice and feces all over the movie theaters. I watched Oprah once, and they did a whole expose on this. Never went back to the movies.
Did you ever watch the Saturday Night Live skit, Fecal Freak?
No.
It's pretty good. There's a scientist who always, like a Bill Nye type, who always just like this, there's fecal matter everywhere. And he puts on like these like X-ray goggles that shows all the fecal matter. And it's like a black light where everything's covered in like purple crap. It's always all over the guy's mouth.
The Fecal Freak.
Comic books.
The comic books. Yeah, get back to it. Comic book movies. How did we get to? We weren't even supposed to talk about movies today. We were supposed to talk about
Reddit.
Misogyny and Bendis leaving the Avengers.
Oh, that's right. That was the theme of the night.
Yeah, Bendis left the Avengers.
Boo-hoo.
Did you hear about that? You know what? I didn't get choked up reading New Avengers 34, which came out this week. But I did. I got like a like go get him, kid kind of moment with like Bendis specifically saying like, you know what, like we've read over 200 issues of this guy's Avengers, and the fact that they had like the cover spread in the back of New Avengers 34, I was like, damn man, like some of these are my favorite Avengers stories. Like I have to say, like most of that stuff is a lot of my favorite stories, a lot of my favorite moments. Especially Disassembled got totally crapped on when it came out. Remember, we were working at the store at the time.
Yep.
And almost every single person who bought the book, they still bought the book. Every single person who came in and bought the book, next week they were like, this is unbelievable. Why? Because nobody wants the slow burn.
Yeah.
You know? And he did come full circle in the last couple of months with everything he destroyed. It took
He brought back
200 issues to resurrect, you know?
the Wasp.
But I'll agree
Or
with
the
you.
Voodoo.
I know you hate the Micronauts thing.
Anything with the microverse is just making my nose bleed.
Okay.
It's so boring. I could care less. Go to the Kree homeworld or something. Like, it's the most uninteresting place you can go to in the Marvel Universe next to
The Shi'ar Empire.
The Shi'ar Empire is a close second. But you know what? They've done a good job of, like, the Shi'ar Empire. Like, making Gladiator the boss, and, like, they focus more on the Imperial Guard, which is, like, their most interesting thing.
Yeah.
You know, I could care less about those feathered assholes.
Yeah.
But in terms of Bendis, this dude's been on the book since 2004.
Yeah.
It's a long run. This guy was the architect of Marvel for many, many years. This guy came from, Crime Comics and Image, with Torso and Powers and everything. Goldfish. The weird thing is that, now Avengers being the top echelon book, I mean, it dominates the charts of Marvel. There's 1,000 Avengers books out now. It's been like that for quite some time. But for a long time, since I would say since what's his name? Since like the 80s, like the early 80s, there hasn't had a really linchpin Avengers book. It wasn't a cool book.
No, you're absolutely right about that.
You think about it, like, and that's the argument that Bendis had early on, like, why are not the coolest people in the world on the Avengers titles?
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with the cool Avengers. I read Avengers West Coast and I loved it.
Yeah, no.
But I was a big US Agent fan.
Yeah, we had like the jalopy of the Avengers growing up, and we also had like, I feel like the end of that was with like Tigra and Rage, and like, those were like the 90s Avengers,
Yep.
But like Bendis did exactly what DC has failed to do since the Morrison run on JLA.
Yeah.
He put all your awesome dudes in one book and then made it incredible.
I don't know what they, and that's a good way of comparing it is like, you have your JLA on one side, you have your Avengers on the other side. There's been a teetering of times of like, for so long the X-Men was the biggest title on, the biggest team and the biggest title in the Marvel Universe. DC for a long time, their fledgling book that became their big title was Teen Titans.
Right.
It came twice over with the Wolfman era and then also with
John Winnick.
And the Winnick and John stuff coming on. But, now you put these, like, you have 100 Avengers books. They're all really good.
Yeah.
And, you're about to go in a new era with Hickman coming on board, which looks incredible.
Yeah.
And you've got, like, JLA. They had a big Apocalypse storyline with Darkseid, which I thought was awful. They had that weirdo dead guy bringing back dead people.
Yeah.
In the second storyline. And you just had the Cheetah. I could care less. And now they're doing an Aquaman storyline. I could care less.
Yeah.
I have never enjoyed a War in Atlantis storyline.
Yeah, no, it's You can't do it. The genius thing about that with Bendis doing that for Marvel is the fact that like I don't think he did this directly, but it was a great way for fans who, money's tight. It's comic books are a luxury, and we're very blessed to be talking about comic books on a weekly basis and have people talk about comic books all over Twitter. And I think those people should take it easy for the most part because it's comic books.
Yeah.
But I don't think Bendis had this in mind. But I feel like he saved fans a lot of dough saying like, you know what? Like I love Cap, I love Iron Man, I love Wolverine, I love all these guys, I love Thor, but I can't really plunk down more than like $15 a week on books. So, what am I going to go to? I'm going to pick up Avengers, I'm going to pick up New Avengers, and I'm going to get everybody. I'm going to get Iron Fist, I'm going to get Luke Cage, I'm going to get like all these cool dudes.
Yeah, and he used the characters that he really wanted to use.
And people picked up those books because they were good, and you got a dose of everybody's personality. I feel like few and far between he did like the solo Avengers storylines.
Yeah. But what's his name? We never had Luke Cage in play. We never had Iron Fist in play, and now those are two of the biggest characters that are still around. We've had, who'd have thought that Wolverine and Spider-Man and Daredevil would ever enter the fray? And those are like, it's a great, like, playground to play with now.
Yeah.
And we get, an incredible movie out of it. You have a massive franchise out of what is supposed to be the biggest, grouping of superheroes in the Marvel Universe. And we finally have that. And it really was, thanks to Bendis.
Yeah.
Like so many people tried.
He did such a great job.
Johns came on board. He did a really good storyline, but no one read it.
Yeah.
Because it was still going with that old school Avengers formula of being like the government guys. No one cared about Hank Pym. No one cared about Wasp.
Right.
At that point, no one cared about Iron Man.
Yeah. Nobody cared about Cap either.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, you had your hardcore people who were really into it.
And it's not a knock on all that stuff because like that pre-Bendis era, like Avengers Marvel Universe was still good. It was very enjoyable, but it wasn't as cohesive as it is now.
Right.
Right. Like you're not getting your dopey guest appearances that have nothing to do with anything for the most part. You do, but you're not, like when Iron Fist shows up in a book, you're like, all right, cool. It's not like, what's he going to do now? Like who's this guy?
No, what they don't have? More Master Pandemonium with baby arms.
Okay.
I want more of that in the new era.
We're going to get the Heroes for Hire, hopefully.
Yeah, you know what? I could care less about that.
Yeah.
I know they teased it at the end of the storyline, and we're going to get it. It's just like, at this point, I like the idea of Bendis working on stuff that he hasn't worked on before.
Yeah.
I like him playing in the X-Men universe. I would love for him to just like kind of, because I don't think many people can write Luke Cage properly. I would like him to put him to rest for a while.
I agree with that completely. Like he's the only one who actually had the passion for some odd reason.
Jeff Parker did a good job too.
What did he?
He did him in Thunderbolts.
Yes. Okay. I agree with that.
He did a good job with him.
But Bendis had that weird passion for it. It's like that. It's like kind of like that. The Grant Morrison thing with the pre-relaunch DCU, where he took Animal Man and Booster Gold, and people that
Aztec
people you didn't really, like Plastic Man, who you didn't really think of as like players, and he made them players.
Yep.
Bendis did that with even more characters, and it was like a fantastic little ending. And also, it leads into like so much more cool stuff. Like I love Uncanny Avengers.
Oh yeah. Well, that's like a dream book. I mean, it's the first time we're getting the merging of the worlds of X-Men and Avengers. I mean, the majority of the book is focusing on the X-Men side.
Right.
I mean, you got such a strong focus on Havoc. You have a strong focus on Rogue, who is like center stage.
Yep.
Scarlet Witch, and it's fun. Yeah. And also, it doesn't hurt that Cassie's doing incredible art on it.
And you remember doing like the wacky, the awesome wacky stuff that he's been doing in the Marvel Universe, and like that dude loves putting other dudes' brains in different bodies.
Yeah, he does. And weird characters, all those side characters, just like the Skullmen,
Turtle Man.
Turtle Man, Goat Girl, and whatever the Water Girl's name was.
I think she was Water Witch
or something like that. It's a good book. It's a solid book. I think that book is going to suffer a bit because there's going to be a lot of delays with it.
Because of Cassidy, you think?
Yeah, they already said there's like there's a couple months where it's not solicited at all because of how it's going to select.
I feel like it's a self-contained book, so it's fine. Like it seems like there's not going to be any major crossovers until Ultron shows up.
Yeah.
But
I think the big stuff, they said already that the big stuff they're going to do in Uncanny Avengers is going to be Apocalypse and Kang are getting into the mix.
Great.
So you have Skull teaming up with Apocalypse and Kang, which is you'd never think of seeing that, hookup, but that's awesome.
I want them to be the ultimate masters of evil, And what's really cool about it is, Uncanny Avengers #2 came out this week, and it's not, for pickup #1, everybody who's watching, Red Skull's the villain, but it's not, the Red Skull that's been around since 1942. It's Red Skull from 1942.
Yeah.
He's a super Nazi who had Arnim Zola put him into a clone body just in case they lost.
Yeah.
And
he's just awoken now, and he's like, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dig up Professor X's brain and I'll put it in my brain.
Because he was a scientist.
Yep.
Like they would go into that Red Skull, but I'm glad Remender kind of went back to that whole thing of having him, just like like when Superman's a scientist.
Yeah.
Like nobody knows about that because it's all Silver Age like stuff that happened like a million years ago. Red Skull takes Professor X's brain, puts it into his brain, and now Red Skull has psychic powers, and he has that crazy Red Skull
the
head.
vortex effect. It's pretty awesome.
But as far as like the Bendis run on Avengers, like he laid the groundwork for so much stuff, and I really want to see where everybody else goes with it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's a rocking book, man. We're gonna get Hickman and Jerome Pina doing the main title, which is supposed to have 24 Avengers characters on it.
Awesome.
And it looks incredible. They've been leaking out. I sent to you some of the preview pages. They're gonna have Hyperion on the team and like Sunspot and Cannonball, like weird choices. And we know Hickman knows how to do a large caliber team and juggle them and do incredibly powerful slow burn storylines while packing every issue with a ton of story.
Absolutely. Like those when Opinion was on Uncanny X-Force, man, there's some of the most beautiful issues of like any comic book.
That guy, I think he's the best superhero artist on the market right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are gonna be blown away when he does the Avengers stuff.
I can't wait for that, man. Cassidy always like he's always way up there.
Yeah.
I like the way he draws. I like the way he draws Thor.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I love the way he draws Cap. I think he makes everyone, he gives everyone unique body types.
Yeah.
It's not just like a swap of different costumes on the same body type over and over again. It's a very, very, everyone looks very unique.
Well, it's that's like going with the art and stuff like in like the Marvel universe for the past few years. You have your great artists who actually do that. Like I can't like if I pick up a DC book now, everybody has the same body type, everybody looks the same. Nobody looks like they're wearing cloth. It's all like painted on muscular bodies. The Ribic stuff on Thor is phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's always amazing.
I'm glad that dude is doing a monthly book.
He was always on annuals and like specials for the longest time. I never understood why they didn't utilize him properly.
Well, and apparently, like that's another thing that kind of fell out of the whole Avengers thing. Going in with the Marvel Universe is Thor. The Jason Aaron Thor stuff is he's in it for the long haul apparently.
Yeah,
and it's all gonna be young Thor, old Thor, and present Thor, which I think is phenomenal.
I think it's a great idea. It's a different way of tackling the character. Anything that gives Thor a destroyer arm is amazing to me.
Yes.
I love the young Thor stuff. I think it's so much fun. I love just seeing him being a dick and just running around and like getting into trouble. Not having the hammer yet, not being worthy enough for the hammer.
Yeah.
It's a great balance of seeing how far his characters come. And you get to play with the mythology a great deal, which is so much fun.
Absolutely, and like the cool issue #2 came out this week, and I really loved issue #1, and I really like where it's going, and the whole thing where it's a different spin, and like in the back of the book he says that like I love everybody else, all the supporting Thor characters, but you've been reading them for a few years right now. This book is going to concentrate just on the Thunder God.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
And his interaction with the other gods. What was your take on X-Men #2? All new X-Men #2.
Very good.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like the filler that the first one was. Like we've talked about, it's one of those issues that kind of suffers from it kind of going into having that cliffhanger ending that you knew was happening, and then the original X-Men time traveling.
What?
This one was really good because you have to see them actually make the travel back to our time.
Yeah.
And you get to see them interact with the characters and. Like Angel's, dropping a line like, it's like, oh, I wonder what happened to me now. Like, you went through some shit, bro. Iceman being Iceman, which he honestly hasn't changed that much character-wise.
Yeah.
Jean Grey's dead. He's a monster. Cyclops is a murderer.
Cyclops is Hitler. Mutant Hitler.
It's a mutant Hitler. But But like you said today, like I love like them interacting with Wolverine for like the few seconds they did.
Yeah.
It's just like this guy runs to school.
Yeah.
Like, bub.
I smelled him. I'm gonna attack him. He smells the Cyclops and he tries to kill him, and then he gets clobbered. And then he gets put to sleep. And then I always like when you have the female telepath who throw the add-on in there.
It's gross.
You know, like
gross
I
brain.
don't like what's going on in there. I feel like it's 3 pictures. Yeah, it's 4 pictures. It's him whacking it, him chugging a bunch of beers, him killing people, and then him banging Jean Grey.
I think the banging Jean Grey thing is just constantly going through his brain. I think they're gonna do something very unusual with Jean Grey, because like it was funny how in the beginning of this issue, they, B says like, "Oh, if you don't believe me, scan me," and scan me. And he's like, "I'm not a telepath yet," or "I'm not a telepath." He's like, "Oh, you will be." And then like by the time she reaches the new, hour time, she becomes a telepath. So I think there's gonna be a very strong advancement of her powers when she starts realizing what she can do. But yes, scan me.
It's also creepy because like they're not really establishing ages, but they're kind of like they're like post-teen, like mid-teens kind of. And the fact that at the last panel, the last page is Wolverine going, Jeannie. So like it's
very gross.
So like A, Wolverine's like 1,000 years old, and B, she's 14. Yeah, and he's just like, I want to watch you grow. I want to watch you grow. You're a beautiful woman, like a flower, beautiful flower. Hey, Bob. And like Hank dying is a little sad, and like I like the whole back and forth between like, of course it's me.
I want to see him mutate again.
I think it's gonna happen. I think he's gonna go straight cat. Or maybe you know what? Maybe Bendis will bring back like wacky Wolverine hair beast.
I like that beast. I want to see him just transform into a turtle for some reason, like a weird like kraken turtle with like a spiky back.
Secondary mutation.
Third, really weird.
It was a good book.
It was a solid book.
Yeah,
I really am. I'm looking forward to where it goes.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like again, even though he's not on the Avengers, like I feel like just like, all right, do the X-Men, like make it awesome, and like he did. Like those first 2 issues were great. I agree with what you said before the show, where you were like, hey, it should have been like just a giant first issue.
Yeah, it should have been. The first issue I thought was very weak because it really wasn't anything surprising in terms of the storyline, but this was really getting to the nitty gritty of what we're going to see going forward.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're going with this book, because we have to get out of the initial 6 issues to really see like where these guys hang out, and like how they're going to interact with the rest of the world. Are we going to see like the old school Beast join the Avengers early or whatever, and how is it going to affect the timeline? Because obviously you can't have a time travel storyline without it affecting the timeline.
Yeah. Their good memories are going to get erased.
Or something like that, or make it worse for them.
Yeah.
Cyclops is gonna be a young Hitler, becoming an artist.
I know this book didn't come out this week, and I forgot to give Andrew a picture, but we didn't talk about it at all. I don't think we did. The last issue of Spider-Man.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I called it, man.
That was a good call. I think before
loved it.
Before the Thanksgiving week off,
loved it.
There was a there's a Spidey, which it had like the Doc Ock. It was like Doc Ock next issue, and you didn't know what was gonna happen because Doc Ock's like he's barely clinging on to life.
Loved it.
And we were trying to figure out what the reveal was gonna be. Take it away, John.
I loved it. It was an awesome issue. Good reveal. What they did was Doc Ock is dying. For the past few issues, you've been seeing this little gold octopus running around, like a little metal octoid or whatever they call them things. And the whole issue, just like Spider-Man, just like, I love life. I love doing stuff. I love swinging around. I love you, Mary Jane. It's like, oh, Aunt May, that beautiful woman.
I'm gonna get my life together.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my life together. I'm gonna make out with Mary Jane, do my stuff. And it's like weird. It's like being a dick, kind of. Like kind of just being like a really like not a dick, but just like a little bit, more of a go-getter.
A little over the top.
Yeah. And then, but the thing is, it starts out with Ock in jail, and he's like says Peter Parker's name, and the Avengers call Spider-Man over and say, he's saying Peter Parker. It's like, turn off the cameras. I want to go with him and talk to him alone. And he's like, he goes in the room, and Octopus is like, Peter Parker. And he's like, yep, I'm Peter Parker. He's like, no, I'm Peter Parker. He's like, no, you were. Now I'm Peter Parker. So the whole story is that basically Octopus has uploaded his brain into Spider-Man, and wants to be a hero,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to, and Peter Parker is an octopus's dying body, and he's like, oh, this is my great achievement, and no one will know that how I pulled it off.
Yeah.
And he dies.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man's like, it's a new era.
It's so weird.
Loved it.
I think
Loved it.
Now, where do you see it going? Because it was like I totally ate that issue up completely.
No, I read it twice.
You know. Yeah. I think it was very rare that I actually end up reading a comic book twice.
Well, because you appreciate it more when you go back and actually read it as Otto. It makes more sense.
Yeah, and it's so weird because like, do you think his last thing is gonna be like, I'm gonna make this guy's life awesome, and I'm gonna die. I'm gonna switch bodies and I'm gonna die.
Well, here's the thing. So this is 698. We still have 2 more issues left of Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So we still have more of this storyline going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're even close to where we're supposed to be. Because also the thing that we know about the relaunch of Spider-Man under the Superior banner, and now it makes a bit more sense.
Intellectually superior.
Intellectual spirit. Like he's gonna go through some type of weird mutation because he's gonna get like weird spiky feet and everything. And
I hate it when they do that.
I know.
Listen, it only worked once when he got 6 arms.
He's got 2 toes. He's got like weird like 2-toe things going on in his boots.
like spider toes.
Yeah, like he's got like weird like dinosaur toes or whatever. Anyway, Stegron's gonna be the new Spider-Man. I don't know where to go because I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're quite there. How this is gonna play off. I think they are actually gonna keep. I think they're gonna have a weird like merging of the 2 personalities because I do think that Otto does want to do the right thing. He's just gonna go about doing it the wrong way. I think we're gonna see a battle of their wits and all that stuff, and like Peter Parker trying to take over.
Yeah.
The personality and anything. But at the same time, I think they showed a little bit of 700, and it's basically Spider-Man heaven. And like talking to Uncle Ben says like, you can rest, but you have to do this one last thing. And so you may be seeing like him just teaching Otto how to be the proper Spider-Man, and Otto being Spider-Man for the foreseeable future until they change it back. Because it's not going to be forever.
Yeah.
But
I will.
Just imagine. Not going to happen. You can't change the status quo, Spidey.
For a fair weather fan, not an issue to pick up right off the bat.
No, pick up Superior Spider-Man #1. It's just it's one of those things that a change to Spider-Man where I can really get behind because it's very unique. I'm really fascinated by Octavius more than I've ever been. Because also I'm really creeped out by the way that he addresses Aunt May.
Oh yeah,
like this poor beautiful woman.
I love her.
I want to hug her with my tentacle. And I love the way that John Jameson, the father, he actually just like immediately like, what's wrong with this dickhead?
Yeah, who's gonna sniff him out? Who do you think's gonna sniff him out?
Jonah.
It's gonna be Jonah. You're not the guy.
Yeah, you're too nice.
Yeah, you're too nice, and also like I feel like he's. I feel like the way it's gonna be written is gonna be Octavius doing the super nerd stuff, like the explanations.
Well, it's interesting, like the stuff he did, like how he put the suit on, like he's wearing like a legitimate suit, like the whole time instead of wearing like schlocky, Spider-Man gear. And when he was working in the lab, he put on like the octopus goggles.
Yes,
like he's doing like weird, like because you know what it is, I think they've written it out where Octavius actually speaks with an American accent. I've always pictured him with that, like the weird, like high pitched German.
Yeah.
So I always feel like, if he's gonna be Spider-Man, like he's gonna somehow like revert his voice to like, oh my god,
that's that's the automatic voice you think of when you hear Dr. Octopus.
My arms are flying in the wind.
I got you, Spider-Man.
I got you, Spider-Man. I am an immigrant.
Yeah, is he? Who knows? Spider-Man just fights him. Rhino's an immigrant.
Have you ever, like in all the Spider-Man iterations, like on television, where you've heard Octopus' voice, has he ever not had a non-ethnic European voice?
That's true.
He is always like, his name is Otto Octavius.
Yeah.
That is not an American-born name.
Short for Ottoman.
Ottoman Octavius. My flailing arms.
I always gave the Vulture a like kind of like a Britishy voice.
Yeah. I always thought of him as like a really again Eastern European like a bad James Bond villain.
Spidey just fights everybody in Sheepshead Bay. It's all like the Rhino's Russian.
Yeah.
Norman is the only how do you think Norman talks? Because I don't hear Willem Dafoe in my head.
No, I just hear like a yelling asshole like all the time. I just hear him with like the American corporate voice.
Kind of like a Trump.
Alec Baldwin in
hey.
in Glengarry Glen Ross.
Hey. It's interesting. You know, like do you read comic books with voices or no?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
And, you know, because like it's I think most of the people, like most of the main characters I read, they have in my mind they have the blandest voice in the world. Like, Captain America has always had like the most monotone voice. Spider-Man has the most monotone voice in my brain.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I said that.
I but when he puts on the mask, I have like that old school, like. No, I don't even think the muffled thing, which I appreciate a great deal. I have like that really asshole, like you know when you get that, like the comic book with the record.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, like
yeah,
a really
yeah.
ridiculous like Spider-Man voice, like it's Spidey time.
Oh yeah.
That's
yeah.
the voice I have Spidey on.
Oh no.
Like the nerd.
Hey.
Hey, it's Spider-Man. I've got sandwiches, guys.
A really amped up Stan Lee.
Hey. Yes, that's exactly like I think it's like a young Stan Lee. Like, whoa!
I'm trapped in the body. I was reading comics in bed with Vicky one night, and I was like, I do the voices in my. If I'm like if I'm not in a rush to read something, I'll put together the entire thing in my head, like with the voices and like the sounds, and rustling, and all that. And I was reading something. I was like, oh, that's awesome. We should read it in his voice. It's great. She's like, I don't read comics with like people's voices. I'm like, why not? I think it makes it more incredible. You know, if you're reading something like she's reading Saga, and I was like, give them voices, and it would be that much better.
It would be. I think I should try doing that more often. Do you give them like the sound effects also?
I do.
Do you do like the old school, like the old movies where you heard everyone walk, like you hear all the footsteps?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I do that. You know, Spidey swishing when he swings.
Any of that.
Tony Stark, the Iron Man armor sounds like RoboCop in my head.
Yo, speaking of which, not feeling this Iron Man.
What, 3 or the? I didn't read issue number 2.
I did. I am not feeling. I think it's the Greg Land thing. I know it's not Gillen, but I am not feeling that. Really, like everyone's smiling. Yeah, exactly. That face. Yeah. Like he looks like such a dick. All the bad guys look exactly the same. No one's got eyeballs.
Yeah,
it is that. It's
who does that?
Greg Land.
I think I went to
Have you ever seen Greg Land before?
No.
I feel like he is like some weird bad guy from like Pup Master.
Really?
Like he has like this wooden face.
No, I have no idea what the guy looks like.
Yeah,
I have no idea what a lot of comic book guys look like.
Yeah, look at
I was surprised David Mack looks like David Mack.
A black guy.
No, I'd be very surprised if the guy I met wasn't David Mack.
J.H. William III.
Oh my god, we thought he was black for like a million years.
You thought he was black. I didn't think. No, I did actually.
We both thought he was like.
There was somebody we were surprised by that was black.
Was it? I want to say.
Another guy with like a long.
I may not be right about this, but it may have been the dude who does 88 Keys. Remember that guy? The guy he used to come in for his art.
Scotty Young.
Scotty Young, yeah.
You thought he was black. I think he was black. I think I saw a picture.
But I think he is black.
No, he's not.
All right. I don't know. Hey, this is getting.
Yo, Greg Land is nothing like expected.
No idea. We got 2 minutes, so make it. We got 1 minute.
Let's talk about Greg Land
before This Week in Radio Tech comes on.
This Week in Radio
I can hear the keyboards clacking to tell Andrew to get. Are you getting instant messages right now from people saying like, get these guys off the show?
Nothing.
Get these guys out of here. I don't want to talk about Greg Land's devilish good looks.
No,
he looks like Neil Adams a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, so I think we're gonna wrap it up. All right, this has been phenomenal as promised episode of Behind the Counter. I'm Rich Stambolian.
And I'm Kosher.
Yeah.